welcome to Motorcycle.com and our 2016 Naked Middleweight Shootout with this, the 2017 Suzuki SV650. Coming along for the ride, we have the Yamaha SV650, the KTM 690 Duke, and as a special treat, we have a 1999 Suzuki SV650, the OG SV. This is a test I've been looking forward to for a very long time. This new SV is very exciting, and so to have all these bikes here will be a very rewarding experience for me. We've got the motley crew of guys along with us, and so we're gonna go ride, let you know how the bikes are in a little bit. So here it is, the test I've been waiting for a very long time. I don't know about these clowns, but we spent an entire day here romping around on the canyons with all these bikes. We've spent a lot of time with this bike in particular. I know I have. We've ridden the SV650 a couple of years back in our middleweight mashup. The KTM is all new, and of course, that. But no, really guys, it's been a really fun test with all these bikes. As far as usable, practical street motorcycles go, this is probably one of my favorite categories of motorcycle. What's been everyone's take on all four of these bikes? Sean?
Well, I think the new SV650 is a move in the right direction from the Gladius. It is a little better balanced, I think, from front to rear. Also felt better balanced from front to rear than the FC07. Not to really criticize the FC07 though, because last year I was pretty harsh on it. Didn't really feel that good, you know, to me. This year it feels great. The KTM, on the other hand, a nice expensive motorcycle that has about 70 horsepower from its single, and you know, tall, firm suspension, and feels like super aggro stunt bike, supermoto, you know. I actually didn't like it as much as last year. To me, it feels harsher this year and maybe just a little less confidence inspiring.
Yeah, so I like the mid-range punch of the Yamaha, and the chassis feels way lighter than the Suzuki does. But yeah, I agree, the Suzuki just feels balanced. Chassis just feels like you can really predict what it's doing in a corner. For such a cheap motorcycle, that's really impressive. Then the KTM, I disagree with you, Sean. I really like the way it performed up here in these twisty bits of road. I could push harder on that bike than I could any of these other ones, but I could push these all pretty hard, and it was a lot of fun. Interesting to see how Gabe thinks of all these after riding down here on his 17-year-old SV.
Flip down here.
Yeah, yeah.
On
So what's your take on all of these?
Totally my favorite category of motorcycle. I love this kind of bike. It's just that sweet spot of like performance and value and fun. I loved the FZ07 the first time I rode it when it was a new bike. I loved the last version of the 690, but I hadn't ridden the SV, and I was very curious to see how it would feel against a first generation SV, which I own two of the things. I don't know why. They follow me home. But anyway, I was really surprised at how close the new one came to the old one. Really, like, you get on the two bikes and if you were blindfolded, you'd crash, but you'd also feel like they were almost the same bike.
They use the same key.
They use the same key. which, you know, Suzuki is a company that seems to be able to do more with less, which makes them kind of charming, which makes a company kind of charming, I think, in my book. And they really do very well, like repackaging what is almost a 20-year-old design and keeping it kind of fresh and modern, but it still felt like an old engine. Even with the improved fueling from the fuel injection, it just revs so quick. So I mean, I think internals must be lighter. I mean, a lot of little tiny detail changes really add up to make it like an improved engine, especially for the price. Like if you adjust for inflation, I think it's the same price as the old one was.
I think they're both a little bit tight. The FZ has a much more comfortable seat than the SV does. The SV seat's sort of a dish area. There's no flat area on it, so it kind of makes you want to slide forward. But then the seat cover's loose in relation to the base. Just, it's not really a great comfortable feeling, and the knee room is too tight on both of them. For 6'2", there's just not enough knee room.
But on that note though, I think the new SV's biggest downfall is its weight. 430 pounds, and you can feel that, especially amongst all the other three bikes here. So we've established that the Yamaha and the SV are good do-it-all bikes, which you probably don't want to go touring on, but you could in a pinch. The KTM though is kind of in a class of its own amongst these bikes here. It's got that tried and true KTM ready to race.
When you're cruising around town, it just looks cool. And the kids like it. It's like, whoa, what's that? A dirt bike for the street? And it kind of feels like that.
So as you can see, you know, the KTM, the Yamaha, and the SV do different things well. And so, hell, we don't even know which bike's gonna be the winner. And so we have to go to the scorecards, fill that out, and then we'll write that in the story, see who the winner is. And if you wanna find out who it is, you're gonna have to go to Motorcycle.com and read the story, or click right about there and read the story there.